Perhaps
gone.
Perhaps we could just play the last one on YouTube for this session.
Yeah.
I do remember how it ended. We started off at the orc camp, right, and went to the town, and then went to the ranch. No, I'm messing it all up. We started at the ranch, and
Yes.
then we were grievously insulted by the farmer who, despite the fact that you can't run a dairy farm with just one cow, still insisted on keeping his one cow, even though clearly the cow chose us.
The cow chose us.
Right? And then we left the ranch, plotting murder later on to come back and get the cow. And that's when the dragon swooped down and stole Omnamu. Despite the fact that dragons only steal one type of person, they eat everything else. Right? So we have to conclude that Omnamu is some kind of princess.
This is true.
There's a character reveal. Did I miss anything?
That was pretty good. So I'll add a bit of detail there. So you guys found like a bunch of loot. I think everybody got something. In some cases, people got multiple somethings.
Damn.
So you guys were sorting through the large pile of orcs, and Omnamu was butchering to cooking many orc steaks, packing them into a sack for a safe trip home. Everyone else explored the farmhouse, found some mithril chainmail +1 in the upstairs bedroom. Kundarg opened the door to an office and found a sack of gold. And then opened up another door and was accosted by a falling broom handle. Chapunk explored around the farmhouse and found a cellar door and chopped at it for a good 20 minutes before realizing that the door was unlocked and he just needed to lift it up to open it.
Oh.
In there, he found a large figure bound and gagged with a burlap sack over his head. Upon deciding not to kill him right away, the group removes his hood and gag just to find Big Al Calazorn underneath. You guys brought him to the kitchen to show him that you had rid the farm of filthy orcs and reunite him with his beloved cow Petunia. As a token of thank you, he gave you some valuable items, including a glaive, a rapier. You guys already stole the mithril chainmail without him noticing. And 3 potions. And a butter skull each. You guys stayed the night, and in the morning began the trip back to Phandalin. After some negotiation, Petunia ultimately decided to stay at the farm and help rebuild Butterskull Ranch to its former glory. Big Al gave you guys a letter to give to Harbin Wester and Phandalin to confirm he's okay and rid of the orc threat, and to ask for some help in the form of additional ranch hands to help get the farm operational once again. Omnom packed his big sack of orc meat, and you guys set off on your horses back towards Phandalin.
Wait, wasn't he taken by the dragon?
As you head westward, this ominous dark cloud comes from over the hills. You guys kept traveling, and you hear the terrible and familiar screeching sound and out from a tall dark cloud swoops the dragon Cryovane. You guys were caught flat-footed with no real place to hide, and with the dragon quickly approaching from the rear, you guys took battle stances. Rowan and Chapunk each managed to make a ranged attack, doing a little bit of damage, and it entered a vertical dive and breathed out strong icy breath into the group. It landed nearby, and a melee ensued. There are lots of misses. Weapons and spells are haphazardly flying in all directions, with only a few finding purchase. The dragon takes a mighty jump forward and chomps down on your friend Omnamu, restraining him in his teeth. The group continues battling the dragon, trying to free their friend. However, at its next opportunity, the dragon took off, with Omnom and his bag of orc meat held tightly in his teeth. He heads southeast to the Sword Mountains.
We may never see him again.
And so, as you see the dragon flying off into the southeast,
Okyo!
your consciousness grips you. And you look around at each other. And Kelnaz says,
Elnos is there?
yes. Kev Grator.
Kev Grator?
Kev Grator.
Wasn't that my first character? Kev Grator? The dwarf barbarian, maybe? And then I played a ranger? I can't remember. Ah, Kev Grator. He's actually gone. You.
Sorry.
He's been carried off in dragon's teeth, and you have
We should try to save him.
fast way of catching him, but you're...
Can we see him fly away in the distance? Like, do we know
Yeah.
what direction?
Yeah, he went southeast, so you are...
Okay, if Kaldanas is here, he can cast fly, and I think he has ability to fly. So
Play my mandolin and let us fly.
So you guys are... I guess I meant to write southwest. Heading westward. Southeast, yes, okay. So you guys are partway through the Tribor Trail, probably about right here.
Let's see.
And so he was heading south this direction. Southeast.
We know that's where Cryovane's lair is?
You're not entirely sure.
We don't know. Okay.
Yar, let's pour one out for our friend and continue on.
Let's not make any effort to try to save him.
Well, yeah, good.
Nothing we can do.
Okyo had all our food. Me getting
Yeah.
hungry.
A bunch of rotten meat. You get scurvy eating that stuff.
Me is not curvy.
All right. So, how would you guys like to pick up here? You can continue back on the trail towards Phandalin. You can give chase into the mountains. You still have horses, so.
Is it like day, or have we been? How long have we been traveling roughly?
So it's you traveled through the morning, so it's about lunchtime, but it's not a very nice day, because there's lots of dark clouds and stuff surrounding.
Did dragon eat
Guess we just-
Omnamu?
Yeah, we need to
Okyo?
decide if we try to save him or... Hold on, table talking. When does Eric get back?
I
we
think
know?
next. I think he went for 2 weeks, right?
He's done for.
Sounds feasible.
All right, well,
I think a smart
we'll
character
figure
has to
that out
decide.
when he comes back. We can go to Phandalin.
Well,
Go get the booty.
go get the booty, but I mean, our friend could be devoured by a dragon in the meantime.
We go save him.
Yeah, I think it behooves us to
Ugh,
pursue.
me no have
That's right.
hooves.
Well, that's
He
all
didn't
right. You
say,
have
he
a
didn't say you
horse.
have them. He said you need to be hooves.
Me keep normal feet.
It's too soon since we lost Bagoon. What's her name? Begonia? Petunia.
Cow you!
Marigold.
Too soon.
Already
Too soon.
forgotten her name.
It's too soon since we forgot. What's her name?
And plus, don't we have the treasure map that the orcs left us, showing treasures in the mountains or something like that?
Nah,
I
I was
vaguely
going.
remember
That was
that.
going into the forest. We did that.
Oh,
Big X on our map.
but didn't? Oh, I thought there's. We misinterpreted that X, and it was really in the mountains. Anyway, let's just head off into the mountains.
We're just gonna blindly go into the mountains with these horses and follow a flying dragon
Well,
that could go anywhere.
no, it's not going anywhere. It's going to wherever it roost is.
Can we see the dragon still? Like we got a general sense of his direction, but do we have any idea where he went other than southeast?
Towards the tall mountains is what you were able to see.
I activate my keen
Like the
mind.
mountains are pretty mountainous.
And you mentioned it's a very cloudy day, right? So
It's also a cloudy
Ooh.
day. So you got a
Well-
general direction, and then
I'm
slip
willing to
behind
split the
the
party
clouds.
over this.
What? You really don't think we should go rescue our good friend and ally, Omnomnu?
I'm sure he'll conveniently find his way back to us.
I don't hear a pirate accent there.
Yar!
I saved it.
Alright, well, I mean, I guess we could go turn in our reward at Phandalin, but maybe we need to find a guide in Phandalin to help us into the mountains. Or something like that.
Me
That
knows
seems like a
mountains.
reasonable plan.
Gonna have to kill the dragon one time or another.
The dragon
Good.
shows up every other day, folks. Like he'll come to us.
Well, he won't come to us with Omnomnu in his, like, claws. We'll have to go to him. He's
Yar,
dead.
he's dead.
I believe
He was carried off in the mouth of a dragon. He is dead.
Well, look, the dragon would have killed him if he wanted to kill him. He's probably turned him into his slave or something.
Then he's happier. He's happier for it. Yar.
Yeah.
He's carving up all the meat he could ever carve.
Well, that might be true.
He's in his own personal heaven. The dragon is bringing him meat to carve.
Don't be scared of glory, tiny you. We go up the mountain and save Orc you.
Dragon teeth will make his flesh stronger.
There you go.
Hey.
Oh,
You lowlanders need supplies before go to mountain. You die too quick up there.
That's a good point.
Aye, we need warm furs to keep our
That's-
dwarven toes warm.
Besides the fact that we're not just gonna climb every other mountain behind this guy. We need to know where we're going. Yar.
Hey, that's why we can find a cartographer or guide back in Phandalin.
Or someone who know map.
Well played.
Brilliant. Alright, to Phandalin it is then. plus we can return these horses for full
Funds.
deposit. Yeah, we get our deposits back.
We have extra horses. We'll get more back.
We're missing some of the original ones, but
You won't notice.
maybe they won't notice.
All right, so you guys are setting off down the Tribord Trail
Handle it.
towards Phandalin.
Phandalin.
All right, I will get who's leading the way here.
Who's
Bro-
our best?
Meat shields. I have a mithril chainmail, so I think I can take a beating.
They're also not made of meat.
Ah! Yeah, right. I go in the back.
Limerick?
Oh,
Up front?
I'm much better in the back.
Yar. Always in the search of booty.
And how are you guys traveling? Just like as fast as you can?
Aggressively.
Just kind of a nonchalant pace?
Maximum speed.
Maximum speed? Okay.
Fast speed.
All right.
Yep.
So I will have you guys make perception checks.
All of us?
Yep.
maximum.
It wasn't really clear who was at the front and who was at the back, so we'll just do a group test.
In a line.
It's
See a
kind of
dragon?
like a bike race where we're just trading off every.
Yeah, you guys are drafting each other on these
Yeah.
horses.
Totally drafting.
That horse had too many beans. He goes at the back. All right. So you guys travel through the afternoon along the Tribord Trail, and you make it to the crossroads towards Phandalin without much issue.
Ah,
It's easy.
Is continuing towards Phandalin, I assume.
No reason to change course now.
All right. Well, there's a spike trap right in front of you, and all of you fall in.
The horse
Should
is
have changed
dead.
your course.
We're still good.
The spikes come down from the top too. It's
Oh.
very confusing. It's more of like a sandwiching spike trap.
this
Like it us and we just go right in the middle.
So as you kind of pull up to this crossroads, it's night is falling,
That's the
and you
spikes.
figure, what's that?
That's the spikes you were talking about.
Yep,
Night falling.
night's falling.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
right. And you have a decision to make about the course of action here. So you figure you can press on and try and make it through to Phandalin and get there very late, or you could potentially make camp and travel there in the morning.
For how long have we been traveling? How exhausted are the horses?
They're pretty tired because you guys have been pushing them. So this is normally a 2-day long trail, and you guys have basically been going double speed on these horses.
Yeah.
So you've managed to pretty much close it to one day with a battle with a dragon in between.
Doesn't do us any good to get there at night. We need people awake and helpful.
Me sleepy.
Yeah, let's make camp.
All right.
People.
Take turns at watch.
We've got a robot.
Never rest robot.
No.
All right.
Never rest
So
robot.
is what's the watch situation like? So as you make camp at this crossroads, you kind of look around. You can't see a whole lot. It's very dark now. Don't see any other campfires, but also haven't run into any trouble throughout the day.
I always watch as normal. So I'm pretty much going to be looking at everybody while they sleep.
So yeah, everyone else is just gonna pass out.
Might as well.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna study the nice dagger that I got last time. But other than that, I will just pass out.
All right. So Chipunk is the only one keeping watch at the moment. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. Unless it makes a difference as to what's about to happen. And I was also awake.
Everyone who's awake dies.
The ultimate plot twist.
However, if you're inert, all right. So I'll have Chipunk make a perception check.
I perceive with my eyes and ears.
Ah, 17's a pretty good one.
They picked the wrong angle for entry. That's on them.
How do I add stuff from the? Uh,
What were you saying?
how do I add stuff from the rolling thing, the Beyond 20 thing?
Like if you're on a stat block, you can just there's usually like a little dice icon next to an action or something.
It's not working in my favor.
You look at the screenshot, like all those red die icons, or like the you can just press those usually.
BRB.
um,
You figure it out?
no.
What are you trying to do?
I was trying to add an enemy
What do you mean
or
add?
like get their stats here, but it's not coming up. Maybe it's not in the.
Sometimes you have to type it like super duper exact. Just can't find it on D&D Beyond?
Yo, Ryan, share your screen
I'm
and your credit card.
Listen, guys. I'm just an idiot. That's the
We all are.
Jesus Christ. I don't even want to get into detail about what just happened there.
All right, you don't
Oh,
have
that
to,
was
Ryan.
embarrassing.
Monitor off?
No, I wasn't even on the right website, and I'm like, I wonder where these are. I can't seem to find them. Oh, it wants me to add. I don't want to add. Hold on. Now I'm not even signed in. This is just embarrassing. Let me access it now. No. I don't want to buy the monster manual on here. Well, I suppose it doesn't want me to add that specific thing. So I'm gonna do it anyways. Alright, so get you guys situated here so you guys have a nice little bonfire that everybody's hanging out around except Omnamu, he's not here.
I'm still looking at the. Oh no, wait. I'm still looking at a big map screen thing.
Oh, I know. I
Oh, no.
gotta do my thing here.
Well,
Good night, Orc you, wherever you are.
This is not the right token. Right, so Chipunk, from over the fire that's kind of slowly smoldered down to embers and past the snoring of your comrades, you see two large, medium humanoid figures approaching. You can hear the clank clank of armor and metal as they walk towards you.
The rest of us are still sleeping, right?
Yes.
This is all you, Radosh.
like metal things. Well,
Oh, I guess I should put you guys on this sheet
Yeah.
that I'm on here too.
I don't know. Do they look menacing? Do they look aggressive? Or
They look aggressive. Yes.
oh shit! Well,
they've got like axes out, and are walking towards, not particularly stealthily, but you can tell that maybe they're trying a little bit.
yeah, but I guess they don't know there's a robot here. Well, I mean, I can either alert you guys or kill them.
Well, I don't know. I mean, seems like if you alert us, then we'll have more turns than them. Or
Oh yeah, fair enough. And they don't get. I like when enemy doesn't get a turn. Okay. I try to like sound some alarm clock sound, like some shout to wake up. Instead of saying, "Hey guys, wake up," like do the loud alarm clock.
nice.
I feel like we need to hear a sample.
Oh my god.
Ryan, don't Don't tempt fate here. This could be pretty obnoxious.
Wait. How does the alarm? My alarm clocks are sheep and pigeons.
Are they really? Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
pigeons.
Alarm clocks haven't been invented yet, Rowan. Seeing into the
Okay, okay.
future.
I
Oh,
make I make a sound.
see.
So
Yeah.
instead of this menacing alarm clock, you're making the cooing sounds of a pigeon.
Maybe a rooster. How about a rooster?
Okay, rooster.
A good old wake up rooster.
Wake up, rooster. So as you cock-a-doodle do, the two figures pick up speed and seem to be charging towards you. They're about 60 feet away.
So they're 60 feet away?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I wait until they're 30 feet away and I
And you'll do what, sorry?
will charge at them.
Okay. All right. They are now 30 feet away. You're
Can I?
starting to charge at 30 feet away.
Oh, like I want to be next to them when they. I want to basically.
You want to meet them at 30 feet? Is that the goal? So if a robot leaves
Sure.
the camp
But they rooster
moving at 7 kilometers an hour, while two figures move towards him at 7 kilometers an hour, where do they meet?
30 feet away from the rooster start position.
All right.
We fight if they look menacing and are approaching us in the middle of night.
That's right. And you hear one shout, "Get him!" And you get to roll initiative now.
What? They didn't charge at them? Okay.
Well, you can move closer to them if you want to move right in there.
Yeah. I gotta test my mithril chainmail.
Naira, you're muted.
Oh, my bad. Did we wake up due to the pigeon noises?
Yeah, I think so, but I cannot select my token, Ryan.
No?
No.
No.
Well, that's a shame.
Oh no! Wait! I'm silly.
On the wrong website.
Just on the wrong website.
That's how they get you.
Rolling on the
Jeez.
wrong website.
We just
Ah.
wake up and see Chipunk charging at two people.
Who are we missing here? We're missing Chipunk.
Yeah, I rolled. I can roll again because I rolled.
Well, he
with-
cock-a-doodle dude and then sprinted towards them.
Yeah. I rolled. I got a 6 in front. I just didn't have my token selected. With my token selected, I have a 14. But I rolled a 6.
What's your dex modifier?
Ooh, my dex modifier is 2.
2? Alright. Descending. Yep, that's the right order then. Alright, so Rowan, there's these two armored figures in the darkness who have charged forward, and you've suddenly seen Chipunk cock-a-doodle-doo and then sprint straight through your fire pit at these two figures.
I will bonus action hex them.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. So one of them is hexed. And
It's just an auto hex, so they don't get any type of save or anything?
yeah, it doesn't do anything on its own really. I have to hit the ball. I guess if they have disadvantage on checks with an ability. They will have disability on. Shit, I don't know. Like, who cares? Like, what are they gonna do?
But what's the spell save DC there for?
There isn't.
It always
Oh,
says
it just
that no
always
matter
does that?
what.
Okay. Okay.
But anyway, the main thing is if I hit, it's like the Hunter's Mark. It's like if I hit it with my
Ah,
blast, they get extra damage. But I still have to hit with the blast, which I will now do. Let me just make sure I have the damage on there.
so just one of them is hexed?
Yeah, one of them is hexed, and then that's the one that I'm gonna levy a Eldritch Blast against here. Ooh, 20. Seems pretty spicy.
20
hit.
is a hit. Yep. 20 is a hit.
Blast him. A solid 7
Ooh.
damage.
Plus 1d6, right?
Well, I put that in. That's the necrotic
Oh, that's
damage.
in there? Alright.
Yeah. I made sure to add that. Ah.
Alright.
Your turn.
Your Eldritch Blast blinks through the night, and you can see some thick metal armor that absorbs a portion of it. All right, is that it for Rowan?
Yep.
We'll switch over to Kundarg.
All right, I will use my action to summon. Well, not summon, but activate BIMS 2, BIMS Mark 2, and then BIMS Mark 2. I'll need the little.
I think you can control it, right?
Yeah, there we go. Cool. And BIMS Mark 2 is going to take a shot with his. This is a bonus action. The Force Ballista. Let's see if I can actually hit something. Make cannon go now.
That's confusing. What does that do?
It's an 11. Wait, what?
It just means you rolled max damage.
What is that to hit? The 11 is to hit?
No.
So what's this? What's this? Rolling 14 plus 1d0 CS greater than 0 CF greater than 1 2d8. I don't know what that
Roll
formula
damage. Hold on, sorry, I think I'm fucking this up again. There, I think I rolled to hit this time.
Oh my goodness, it's just all green.
There we go.
Oh my god.
That's gotta be a
Is
hit.
that the actual amount of damage? Yeah, 25 certainly a hit. But
Something's
you're
gotta be
rolling
wrong
you're rolling a 25. Like if you look at your calculation when you hover over the thing, your first one it says rolling 11 plus something, rolling 14 plus something, rolling 25 plus something.
I'll just roll damage, because the damage is supposed to be 2d8. Sorry, guys. 2d8. So the damage is 9 damage. Times 2, because it's a crit.
Alright.
Just roll.
And
Just roll 48.
he moves backwards 5 feet.
Yeah, shouldn't you
in
just
the
roll
opposite
48 then?
Whatever.
It's better than taking 2 1s. I guess taking 2 8s is
Yeah.
nice too, but.
Bam. 19. See, that's one more than if you just take it.
Bam.
And sorry, he gets knocked back 5 feet as well?
He gets pushed backwards. It's like a big ballista shot. Yeah, take that.
Ooh. And I think that invokes an attack of opportunity from Chipunk.
No.
No?
Because it doesn't use.
No.
It's only when it uses its own movement to do that.
That's it.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, imagine if it worked like that, and then you had like Sentinel or something.
I think that's how we did it in the first campaign years ago.
Oh.
Just OP.
Yeah.
Broken.
You get somebody with like shield bash and just like knock them back. And
Whoa.
everybody gets
Pushing them back and everyone gets
Stupid
extra
Scott
attack.
doing that all the time.
I had a
He would.
polearm
did.
Sentinel.
Constantly.
Okay, that's it for me.
Alright.
Take that.
Me.
All right, Me's going to grab his glaive and charge in after. All right, I'm gonna go here, and I'll rage, and then do a reckless attack. And that's gonna be an 11. I rolled not advantage because it's dark and I don't have dark vision. So I'm canceling out the disadvantage.
11 is a miss.
Ugh. All right, that's it for me.
All right. Monsieur Marcisi.
All right. I will come over here and get this guy from rear,
As one does.
as one does, naturally. So because no one is within 5 feet of me, I get my sneak attack damage. So,
So if you were closer to me, that wouldn't work?
yes. Yeah. Although I don't think it matters
out of here.
because you're in melee. Because you're in melee with it. Because you're melee with it, I think I get the advantage anyway. So I will roll my rapier attack. 19.
19 is a hit.
So 6 piercing plus sneak attack damage. It's another 5, so 11 damage.
All right. You managed to find a small chink in the thick armor plating and deliver a stab with your rapier.
Okay. And I will use my bonus action to dash and get away. So I will run and hide behind, well, not hide, but run
And
behind.
you have some like disengage automatically scenario.
Yeah, so because I attacked him, he cannot take reactions to me because my fancy
Touche.
footwork.
That fancy footwork.
What about you, though?
What about me?
Me?
We covered that.
You got taken by a dragon.
Or cute.
God. All right, so that's Mr. Marcisi. We go to Chapunk now.
Aha. And as a bonus action, I summon this very, very, very.
For some reason, it summons large, but
And I attack.
oh, you already had one over here.
Oh shit! Yeah. So wait. This guy is frightened. If he gets hit, will he lose his frightened status?
He's hexed.
Oh, he's hexed.
Yeah, he's hexed, and he got shoved by some sort of ballista catapult blast.
Well,
Force
I
ballista.
try to strike him the other way as he's falling back. I will make an attack through the Echo's position with a sword.
8.
Ooh, an 8.
That's a bad miss.
That's a miss. I will actually. Okay, so I'll actually do Unleash Incarnation, one of these guys, to make an attack through an Echo's position every time I make an attack. Yes. So I make an attack again. 7.
Seven's a hit. No, seven's not a hit.
I power
Less
down.
than 8. Chipunk successfully powers down. It takes a full 24 hours of jump starting to get him back up and running.
Yeah, updates need to be made. Windows install.
All right. So, these two much larger, more heavily clad Orogs start swinging wildly at you. The one back here is going to step forward into Chipunk's sphere
Wait,
of
wait.
influence.
Yeah, attack of opportunity, which I get to make through an Echo's position.
Oh, there we go. See if you can do it.
I'm gonna get a 7 again. 17!
17.
Boom!
17's a miss.
12 damage. Oh, really? Oh,
Yep. 17's a miss.
holy shit! Really? Huh?
Yeah. These two Orogs are wearing full plate armor,
Ah,
so they're not as haphazard as the orcs you ran into at the Butterskull Ranch, even though the token looks the same.
yeah, I see. I see.
Token challenges. All right. So the one that just was attack of opportunity is going to make 2 great axe attacks against Chipunk.
Beep boop. My AC is 18, just for reference as you roll.
20. Oh, that first one is a miss.
Whoa.
And the second one is also a miss. There's some poor rolls out of that Orog. The other one that's to the north of you looks down and comes down on you with his great axe as well. 18.
My AC is 18, so that's a hit.
That's a hit.
Yeah.
So you take 10 slashing damage. And he makes a second attack and gets a 21. Not a critical. And so you'll take 10 more slashing damage.
So he got me for 20 damage.
That's
Holy
a ton of damage.
Right?
That's a ton of damage.
It's a great
Sparks.
axe.
2 great axe attacks. What a great axe.
Need lighter.
All right. And that is the Orog's turn. So we're back up to Rowan.
Blast him.
Alright, well. I'm gonna clearly aim at this same orc that I hit last time and blast him again.
Does it count as a rest that we had for spell slots and stuff?
It would count as a short rest because you got kind of
Short rest.
interrupted. Yeah.
Blast!
Ooh, 22 is a hit.
8
Ooh,
damage.
for another 8 damage. Oh, he's looking pretty worse for wear.
How many
as your-
blasts
as
can
your-
this guy take?
Blast erupts within his armor that time.
Thanks.
All right, is that it for you? Is that it for you, Rowan?
Let me check if this thing is a bonus action. It is called False Life. No, it's an action. Okay, that's it for me.
All right. Gundarg.
Oh, I'm gonna move 20 feet in this direction. My little robot friend, I think he can move 20 feet. But he's gonna cast as a bonus action Protector. So everyone gets
Ooh.
6 temporary hit points
Nice.
within 10 feet. So let me just make sure he's
Ooh.
within range.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can't reach Shadow Dark. Sorry, buddy.
Got him.
You
And
didn't
then
get him.
as my actual action,
Didn't get him. Left him
Didn't
out.
get him. And as my actual action, I'm gonna fire my pistol. Ah, it's a 10.
10 is a miss.
Damn it. So don't forget to add 6 temporary hit points.
Yeah. Thank you,
Right.
Wizard.
Me, you are up.
Okay. Me is going to just put it there. And I'm quite muted, so after I shift over there just so I can get them both, I'm going to say, who's there? Come out of dark and fight like a Goliath. And attack, reckless attack on the one on the left. Miss. Alright, that's me.
We know.
Teens miss, yeah. All right. Lemarack.
All right. I'm going to run in and attack him with my rapier. That's
Oh,
critical
ho,
hit.
ho.
So lots of damage coming. 9 plus 4 plus double sneak attack damage.
Ah.
So, is that 13 plus 12?
25? Oh, man. He is not looking too happy. You hear a light sobbing from beyond his helmet.
I will use my bonus action to attack with my dagger.
Ooh.
Another 9.
The sobbing that you hear as you drive your dagger between the armor plates goes out, and you just hear and the Orog slumps to the ground.
Right in the throat.
All right, Chapunk.
Well, it seems like things are under control. How is this person in front looking?
He's looking pretty bloodied at this point. It's
Okay,
hard to
well,
tell, but you think there's plenty of orc blood spilling on the ground, or
Oh.
Orog blood.
well, let's see. I move this guy here, just because, and I make it an attack against this orc.
All right,
23.
23 is a hit, definitely.
Nice. He's protected.
Oh. And how do you murder this Orog?
Ooh, well, his great axe cleaved me so good. I just cut his head off. Like on the weak parts of where the helmet connects with the neck thing. Not very creative. I want to smoke weed. I'm a heartless robot. I go, I slice, I manifest images that slice Like he
Flesh
doesn't know what happened.
images. All right. Well, he slumps to the ground as well, in a bloody pile, decapitated.
Oh, fully.
Stand above these two Orogs, vanquished.
These were scout ships. They're much too far from a Death Star.
Do they have any like insignias? How do they know we were here? Let's search their bodies.
Right. I'll have you do an investigation check.
Investigation, eh?
Oh, 20. So most of the orcs that you've been facing don't have any particular band markings on them to this point. But these two on their shoulders, on their like lapel here, they each have a very large red eye, like an eyeball, painted onto their armor.
An eyeball?
Yeah.
Write that down. Sounds important.
Have we seen such eyeball before?
Not specifically. You may have come. Yeah. Why don't you do a history check and we'll see.
Seems like the kind of thing Omnom would know about.
Seems like something you might know.
I got
You don't really recall anything. It's a very crudely drawn eyeball, crudely painted on eyeball. Um, you also find a small piece of parchment on one of the bodies. And as you unfold the parchment, you see a crudely drawn map of the area. And this time, you see two crudely drawn X's on the map.
Oh,
Double the booty.
One seeming to be just north of Coneyberry. At least from what you can tell from the.
Ooh, could you bring us to the map?
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the map. I didn't bring you guys.
That's
to the
where
map.
we just were, I think.
Oh yes, right, Coneyberry. Where's the new X?
The new one you see down this direction. Sorry, right here.
a dragon next to the X.
Right here.
Wait, where?
Here, let's draw it. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Beat me
There-
to it.
the top X is an X in a circle around. So
Whoa.
there we go. What is?
And other than that, you don't find any coins or anything really significant. The two orcs each have a great axe, a javelin, and they're wearing plate armor.
I'll take one of the javelins if nobody cares.
Oh, you're-
Right.
Seems
Grab it.
reasonable. But you have to get closer to the camera. All right. And so it's the middle of the night. You've just had a bit of a battle there that you weren't expecting. You guys gonna just pass back out, pull one of the bodies over to use as a pillow, keep traveling.
We should like hide the body.
Hide it.
Yarr,
I
we
say
should
we hoist it up as an example to other orcs that patrol these
Wow.
lands.
Okay. We get out our rope and hoist up the orc body.
What are you
Yarr,
hoisting it up on?
the mast.
Are there no trees nearby?
I suppose you guys did camp at a crossroads, so there would be a some kind of signage there pointing you towards Phandalin.
Is there a sign that says no hoisting up corpses? Because I'm pretty sure there should be. I don't think anybody wants rotting corpses at their crossroads. Campsite over here. It's like,
Chipunk, could you help me? Use your strong arms, laddie, and just hoist this orc up. I've tied a big rope around the feet, and I hand it to Chipunk.
I will heist the orc. Beep boop.
All right. You managed to hoist the orc up in a complete reversal of the end of a Mario level where he goes down the pole. You're hoisting him on up.
This is a mini game. I was not tapping.
You pressed A one too many times, and he comes crashing.
No!
So you managed to kind of I wouldn't say it's so much a hoisting up because the sign's not super robust. You're more kind of propping him up against the sign.
Can we make the sign more robust? Somehow, do we have?
What are your carpentry skills or metalworking skills like?
I do have some skills. I can play dice and chess.
I go back to sleep while they're doing this.
No, I have nothing. So, yeah. We just hoisted this, but the best we can.
I'm just gonna do a search around the perimeter just to see if there's anybody else nearby.
All right, I'll get you to make a perception check.
Okay. Do I need disadvantage or anything on that? I'm just.
Do you have because it's pretty
I'm a
dark out? Do you have
halfling.
dark vision or anything like
It's a
that?
little late for that.
Leave for what? Dark vision or
Dark vision rules.
well, he never mentioned it before, so no, I'll just get you to do. You're the adrenaline's pumping through you after murdering that Orog, so you can just take a regular perception check. Yeah.
No.
Hmm.
19 is not an advantage.
19 without an advantage. So you do a quick perimeter sweep, an ocular pat down with some sniffing of the air, and you don't see anything nearby that you determine to be a big threat at this moment.
Then I will join me in a sleep.
Wake up, murder two guys,
The long rest.
just pass right back.
Back to sleep.
Let's just farm these orcs.
You're on a spawn point. They just every 8 hours 2 orcs spawn.
We're just camping them.
All right. So are you guys all going back to sleep? Chapunk's powering down completely, not staying inert or anything.
It's possible. Maybe there's.
Huh?
I'm inert. I'm pretty inert.
All right. You guys wake up in the morning,
Pile of dead orcs.
and there's two dead orcs propped up against the sign right where you left them. And you begin to decide what you're going to do with the morning.
Get on our horses, continue to the town.
Did you identify that dagger?
We have this new X.
Yeah, it was just a fancy dagger. Pretty sure it was just a
Okay.
+1.
Yeah. All right. So you guys head back towards Phandalin.
Do it.
Going to Phandalin. Can I scan the distance for Cryovane?
Yes, that's a great idea.
Do a little perception. Do a little perceive Reno.
All right. And you scan the horizon on all sides, but don't see anything that you determine to be a dragon flying around. All right. And so you guys pull into Phandalin, up here near Barthen's Provisions. And what do you do?
Close.
We talk to Doryu.
Well,
Maybe?
wait, first we should return the horses, because that way we get our deposit back on the horses. Just take care of business here.
And
then
get
I
money
think collect
back.
our reward. Yeah.
Right. So you guys head over to Barthen's Provisions and knock on the door, and Barthen comes out and says, "Oh, you made it back. Look a little dirty."
Well,
It's hard on the road.
we've returned all of the horses.
We bring horse you.
Ah, excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we missing a couple? Whose horses are these ones?
These are the horses you lent to us.
Yes. These are exactly the horses that
See?
you...
They behooved.
They have many hooves. I will also suggest that you take these horses.
Ooh.
Are you Jedi mind tricking him?
These are the horses you are looking for. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'll use the power of the dark side on him.
Okay.
Did it work?
I don't know yet. I have to make a roll. To make a wisdom saving throw with an NPC I don't know any of his stats for.
It's great because he'd probably just take them and be happy to have
Just
extra
roll,
horses.
roll a d20, Ryan. If it's really low, you don't need to worry. And if it's...
That's true. Oh, +0 anyways. 16. Ooh.
That's a pretty good resist.
So Barthen looks over at Rowan and kind of raises his eyebrow. Says, "Well, some of these are the horses I've been looking for. But
The
I've
others are
been
fine
known
horses.
Horse is horse!
but I've been known to turn a blind eye to horse trading in these parts." And he has one of his hands lead them into the stable.
Oh, those are some fine horse hands you have there. You wouldn't happen to know where we could find some good farm hands around here?
Oh, well. There's a few places to look. I'd suggest either speaking to Harbin or even checking out Alderleaf Farm on the south side of Phandalin. They've always seemed to have extra help around there.
What was the name of that place?
Alderleaf.
Alderleaf Farm? Alderleaf?
And Harbin was the other guy?
Yeah, that's the town master,
Oh,
Harbin
yes,
Wester.
Harbin Wester, yeah. Doorman.
Doryu.
Farm.
Not to be
Doryu?
confused with Cow-Yu.
Doryu does not want hands?
All right. So you managed to return the horses. You're now horseless, but you've gained the trust and curious ethical practices of Barthen. I mean, times are tough. A horse is a horse, even if it's got someone else's initials
Horse, of
branded
course.
onto it. A horse, of course. A horse is a horse, of course.
No one's gonna look a gift horse in the mouth.
Ooh.
A gifted horse on the map. Should we talk to what's his name? Harlan?
We
With,
need to find
the letter that confirms what's that guy's name?
Big Al Calazorn.
Big Al.
Big Al.
That
Big
he's
Al.
still alive and we can recruit some farm hands.
And we need somebody who knows where dragon lairs are to find a dragon.
Let's go break into Harbin's house again.
Then let's go see Doryu.
It went really well last time.
I have an amazing idea. What we're gonna do first, Lemrak's gonna take his pants off. And he's gonna jump
I
on
like
top
it.
of the house
He's wearing
and
pants?
stuff his pants into the fire into the chimney.
Thought he was Donald
I
Duckman.
love it.
This time it's gonna work.
Just open some windows. Damn it.
All right. So where are you guys heading?
Gonna go to Harbin's at the town master's hall.
All right. To the town master's hall you go.
I pound on the door aggressively.
Doryu!
Aggressively.
And the little eye slot flips open, and you hear on the other side the voice of Harbin Wester. Ah, you made it back. I don't see Big Al with you. What happened to him?
It's a long story. I slip the piece of paper through the slot and it like hits him in the face a little bit.
What is this? What is this?
It's
And
paper.
He takes a minute and reads through the letter, which confirms that Big Al is still good, and he's resetting the setting back up Butterskull Ranch.
Horsemen say you no want hands.
I prefer to be behooved, but well, I'm sure we can find a few spare hands around here. I mean, he usually just takes the youngest ones to go live on his farm.
It's kind of
Some
weird.
sort of creepy This was not meant to be as creepy as it turned out. we usually send the teenage boys, the strongest ones, but the youngest ones.
The most handsome and
The
strong.
most handsome.
Oh, jeez.
Young men need hands for holding weapons and fighting.
Oh, absolutely. It sounds like you guys ran into quite a Terry out there.
It was a orc massacre.
Ah.
Oh,
I see that there's fewer of you though.
ooh.
Aye.
Sacrifices needed to be made.
Yes, unfortunately, our friend was carried off in the clutches of the dragon itself.
Oh,
The Yonder Mountains.
the
Yonder.
Yonder Mountains.
Yeah, that's what. I'm sure that's what people talk like around here. I'm accurately portraying a
Yeah.
person of this area. Anyway, do you know how we can find him?
So Harbin gives you a stare through the little eye hole that he's got opened up, and he said, "Well, I can't tell you exactly who, but you might want to check at the Lion Shield Coster across the way." And he points to the silver home or the gray home over yonder on that side.
And who can we speak to there?
That's quite a reasonable question you have.
Aye. Tell me everything about him or her.
Well, you should
Family
look for.
background, personal likes and dislikes.
Favorite color.
Well, I don't know her that well, but you should ask for Lenine Greywind.
Lenny Gray. Aye. Very well.
All right. And then he says, "Oh, and you guys are, you fellows are really chipping down this list. Here, let me help you out here." And so he begins counting out one gold coin at a time underneath the doorway. And while it takes quite some time, you end up walking away with 150 gold pieces.
Ooh,
Amongst the five of you.
We split it.
$30 a piece. Aye. We love a good tertiary side quest.
That's a lot of gold. I'm rich. I should invest in Bitcoin.
Oh, I've got this little bit of a coin. He holds up a broken coin. Still think it's worth something, though. I'll save it for future investment.
Beep boop.
I hold it. Total it.
Cut.
Show myself that.
Hop open up.
Do you need anything from upstairs, babes?
All right.
Let's go to.
And he slides closed the little peephole, the eye hole. You stare blankly at the door. No one moving.
Are there any... Hey, tell me, Harbin, are there any new notices up on the board?
So he slides it back open. And he's like, "Well, of course there are. Look at the board." And he slides it closed again. There's always work to do around here.
But wait, we didn't complete this Plight to the Loggers camp and issues at Mountain Toe.
Mountain Toe? That's in the mountain.
That's in a mountain. 15 clicks northeast of Fandolin. The mine and the mountain toe. Some person named Raskin needs escorting to the mine.
Hmm. Could take a
Where did you
secondary
write this
quest,
down,
but
Radosh? Where did you where did you
You
just pull
remember
this?
I
this?
vaguely remember this, Ryan. This is absolutely part of the campaign.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I'm just he's recalling it with such great
100%.
detail.
I'm reading, like, I'm reading it on my notepad.
Oh,
I mean,
did I share something that has the
no,
things on?
no, I take notes in my notepad.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Well, you sir get inspiration for surprising me by telling me what things still remained on the job board.
Yeah.
The rest of y'all can take a lesson from
Painful.
Radosh's book. All right, so you guys have the job board behind you. There's another building. There's parts of the town you haven't checked out. Harbin seems to be starting to figure out some farm hands to send over to Butterskull.
We can go over yonder and seek Lenim Greywind.
Lean Greywind.
I mean, beep boop.
Why don't we go to the Lion Shield coaster? Was that what it's called?
Iron Shield Coster.
Radosh, I don't suppose you've seen Lightyear, have you? No, there's a character in Lightyear that strongly reminded me of Chipunk.
Nice. I got inspirations from.
There you go. It's a cat.
Oh god.
All right, so you guys heading over to Lion Shield Coster. You exploring something different. What's your thought?
Lion
What,
Shield
my
is
thought is,
where we're tracking the dragon, right?
yeah,
Let's go there.
yeah, let's do that.
All right. You head across the town square here, and take a look at the larger gray building. Or I guess you're just going across the street, and see this larger gray building. Hanging above the front door of this modest trading post is a sign shaped like a wooden shield with a blue lion painted on it.
Hmm.
Do we know anything about this place?
I think we just heard about it for the first time, right?
Yep. First time you've heard about it. So you don't know anything about it. There's apparently someone inside named Lenine, and there is a shield with a wooden shield with a blue lion painted on it outside the window, or hanging above the door, which also is outside the window, just in case you were curious.
Let's
Let's slam on the door.
knock on the door. Yeah. Leanne Greywind.
So sorry, you're knocking on the door. You just open it up. What's
Slamming.
We're knocking.
All right. So you knock on the door, and a sharp-witted lady opens up the door and says, "Ah, welcome."
Ryan, I love how every single NPC starts their speech by "Ah!"
Ah! It's just part of the campaign.
It's a sure
Bart.
sign of sharp wit.
That's how I start all my sentences. Walk into a room.
Ah!
Ah!
So you want a business mortgage, eh?
Ah! Oh my goodness. So she opens up the door and says, "Ah, welcome to the Lion Shield Coaster. My name's Lenine. How may we help you today?"
Who else is there?
So far it's you five and her that you can
Oh.
see.
Okay.
She ushers you inside.
Doorman says you know where Dragon is.
Oh, dragon. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Does anyone really know where the dragon is at any time? It's a dragon. It's a free spirit. Living
Must
its
have a
life.
roost.
Does the dragon have a nest?
Or a treasure hoard.
Oh, it
Treasure.
certainly has a nest. I mean, it drove the orcs out of Icespire Hold up at Icespire Peak.
Icespire hole.
Both aptly named after the mountain. Icespire Mountain Peak. Her wit is dripping at this point. But before we divulge all of that stuff that I just said, perhaps you're here to buy some provisions, some weapons, armor. I mean, you can't just
we're
fight a dragon with your fingernails and clothes.
We were hoping you could help us. We were hoping you could help us locate the lair of the dragon.
Ah, well, to gain my trust, you must answer 3 riddles.
Seriously?
Ah.
Riddle number 1. And she looks at you across the counter, because now she's behind the counter, and says, "What goes round the house and in the house, but never touches the house?"
Hose.
What was it?
Rats.
Hold on a second.
What goes around the house and in the house but never touches the house?
But never touches the house.
Interior space.
Interior space is not the answer.
I have an answer, but my character's too dumb to suggest it, so.
Ooh.
Yo mama?
Yeah.
Ooh. She seems deeply offended. More offended than she should be.
I don't have an answer, and my character is also too dumb to deduce it.
Is grass.
That is not the right answer either.
You think so, Bob?
Yeah, I do. Me no like tricky questions.
Electricity.
I don't sure what electricity is. Is that lightning bolts and that kind of flim flam? Ah, welcome.
Yes.
Yar, is this one of these trick questions?
Aren't all riddles just trick questions?
It's something
I
like
don't know.
space or time or something like that.
Well, it exists both in space and in time.
Is it the outdoors?
You're getting warmer.
What I said
Warmer.
indoors.
Curse the 7.
Is it the sun?
My goodness, this Warforge knows his stuff.
People.
Oh,
I should. Damn it.
It
That was a
is
good
the
one.
sun. My next riddle.
Sun touches the house.
How does the sun go in the house?
Sunlight
the
goes in
through
the
the
house.
window.
Through the window.
Yeah.
That's
To
not
the
the sun, that's
wall.
light.
To the sweat drip down my balls.
But
Skeet,
sun
skeet, skeet, skeet.
touches
Alright,
the house. Okay.
Don't be too
Second.
harsh on these riddles.
What's that?
So don't be too harsh on these riddles to everyone else. Not to you, Ryan, but to these guys.
All right.
Riddles are hard.
I do agree. Sunlight does touch the house, but whatever.
Okay, second riddle.
All right. All right. All right.
It's okay.
Let's not. Let's
It's
not.
alright.
At the end
We
of
got through. We
We're
got
not
through
being
riddle
harsh.
number 1. So.
It's
We
okay.
will-
It's a wave and a particle, and they know it in this universe.
My next riddle. There are 4 siblings in this world, all born together. The first runs and never wearies. The second eats and is never full. The third drinks and is always thirsty. And the fourth sings a song forever.
I'll be pissed at you guys if you don't get it.
What's the third? Drinks
Seasons?
Drinks and is always thirsty.
Think about a alchemist maze from 5 years ago.
Oh, as if this.
What?
We've had this riddle before, is what you're saying?
What's the
Oh,
fourth
man.
one?
The fourth sings a song forever.
Oh, okay. I'm just earth, wind, fire, water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful when you do D&D riddles, because if you just Google riddles, you come up with
These
certain
are the
ones.
ones that come up.
Oh, but it's not fun to Google. Everybody can Google.
No, I just
it.
mean if you Google the word riddles, and you look for riddles to find,
You'll find these
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
I'm not saying they're original
no,
riddles.
it's okay. It's well, that's how
No,
riddles
original
work.
riddles are hard.
All right, and my final riddle. What tastes better than it smells?
Wasn't that on Reddit today?
I don't know. Was it really?
Yeah, I think there was like a thread that
Yes,
was
it
like
was.
something
I
like
saw it as
that.
well.
What was? Was
I
it
didn't
really?
actually open it. I didn't
Me
actually
neither.
open the thread because I was like, I don't care about that.
All right. Well.
This will never be useful for me.
This will never
Garbage.
come up.
Tastes better than it smells.
What tastes but lots of things. I
Fart?
think. No. Those pies across the street at the inn. They
Oh,
probably
the
taste
strawberry
better.
rhubarb pies
Yeah, they probably taste
at
better than they smell.
at the old what's it called?
Why you ask
Stonehill
tricky
Inn?
questions?
Oh, Toblin's not trying to sell you those horrid strawberry rhubarb pies.
Yeah, he was.
He's been selling them for years. And by selling them, I mean keeping them in a case.
Well, they taste better than they smell.
I wouldn't know. I've heard legend of their terrible taste. They smell pretty good, though.
So
Smell
we
like
solved the
strawberry
riddle?
rhubarb.
That's it. We solved the riddle.
No, that was not the answer. I would say that probably smells better than it tastes.
We taste of pie.
Orc steak.
Mmm.
Orc steak.
Num yum.
Maybe
Okay.
like roses smell good, but I wouldn't eat them.
Got a good point.
Little do you know that apples are roses, and you do eat them.
What?
That's right.
This
They're,
is one of these
they're
dumb
technically roses.
classifying techniques.
Part of the rose family.
Part of the rose family.
You're out.
Get out of here with that blasphemy.
But roses don't grow in trees. How can a tree be part of the rose family?
Apples
Now we're asking the real
are
questions.
part of the rose family.
Doesn't make sense.
The
These
rose
scientists
family
don't know what they're
includes
talking about.
several
ROWS,
crops
right?
such as apples and pears. What?
What? A pear is a rose?
It's part of the rose family.
Gah.
Nothing makes sense anymore.
These scientists are just making this shit up as they go.
Yeah. Wait. Tastes better than it smells, or smells better than it tastes.
Tastes better than it smells.
Okay.
It
Well,
has to
Wow,
be.
it's a bit of a trick question. It turns out there's a few answers here, but the correct answer is a tongue.
It's the first thing I thought, and then I got rid of it.
He said, "No way is it gonna be that
I was
Yeah,
way."
like,
you can't-
no, it's not going to be
You
done.
can't get rid of the most obvious answer. That's a good one.
I thought your answer was right, Bob. I was just
No.
sitting on it to let the
No, I didn't think
chat
it was
go
right.
through.
It was my guess, but I didn't think it was right.
I thought it was good. The sweet taste of victory.
Nice.
Yeah,
I thought that was good.
it's
Yeah.
okay, but yeah, tongue. That's a good one.
so
One I
the
specifically came up with myself.
You came out with that one, right?
No,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was shaking
because that's
my
an
head.
amazing one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know what's funny is I thought of
I
tongue
curated
immediately, but I didn't actually clue into the fact that the tongue is tasting. I was thinking about eating a tongue.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is why I dismissed it immediately.
Well, you were on the right track.
Yeah.
Now let's all go to Reddit and give that
Yeah.
and get some karma.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be the top one on the thread. It's got to be.
What was the thread? It's like best riddles or something.
No,
No, it was like the
What
thread
tastes
was
better than it
called
smells.
"What tastes better than it smells." It was like on the front page today.
Really?
Yeah.
15 hours ago. What tastes better than it smells? What?
No.
Oh man, it just takes a real bad turn immediately.
At least you didn't ask why is a writing desk like a raven.
Meanwhile, Nom Yum is being eaten.
Why?
I think it's the Reddit seems to be less about the riddle and more about like people mentioning weird fruits,
Yeah, it's not
and
a
body
riddle at all,
parts
yeah.
and stuff like that. Dick, your ass, Parmesan cheese, barbecue chips. Someone put a tongue. This person knew. One upvote. They're no.
Well, now that
Alright.
we've systematically earned your trust, perhaps
Wow,
you could
that
help
was
us.
a little bit painful, but, you know, riddles are hard. I don't get a lot of visitors here, except people buying weapons and armor. Weapons and armor? Do you have any weapons and armor you need?
Do you have magic swords?
I don't have any magic swords
Well,
at this moment. All mundane type weapons. Those magic ones are tough to come by, but I could certainly keep my ear to the ground. Should I catch wind of one for the right price, of course.
keeping an ear to the ground is not very good at catching wind.
No, that's correct. Is that a riddle in your own of your own device?
Hey,
I liked it.
let's get to the chase there. Tell us how to find the dragon.
Well, judging from the likes of you fellows, that dragon would be a tough fought battle. I'd
What?
suggest collecting some more items that might help you on your way. But if you must go, know that there's a scallywag that lives over in Tresendar Manor, over to the east. He knows a way to get to the top of the mountain.
Hey, does this scallywag have a name?
Well, of course he does.
What is his name?
Funny you should ask. Ah,
Yes, a strange turn of events.
No
a
more
strange
trick
turn of
questions.
events indeed.
Didn't see that coming, did you, Ryan?
Didn't see that one coming.
Blindsided by asking the dude's name.
Well, hey, sometimes you guys just blast through the detail
It's
and
true.
immediately tie them up. So,
I want to behead this person.
I only know him by his first name, Augusto.
Augusto.
Scallywag Augusta.
You've been most helpful.
I like to be helpful, opening the door and saying, "Well, welcome."
Thank you, Lenny.
Do you have
And
any- Do you have any like fur coats and stuff that we could use for
I-
travel in the mountain?
oh, we definitely have mountain gear. And she looks at each of you and says, "Okay." Her voice got real deep there for some reason. "Okay, gentlemen, to head into the mountains, I would suggest 100 to 150 feet of rope. You know, for scaling things you use rope for. We also have these new fangled snowshoes,
Oh.
winter boots, furs. What tickles your fancy?"
We'll be
Well-
spending some time up in the mountain, so perhaps a full kit,
All of those.
one of each for everyone. Do you have 5?
Me does not need furs. Me grew up in mountains.
You don't even want the snowshoes.
Me no need. You lowlanders sink in snow. You see, me walk on snow, okay? Me
Aye,
get
well then,
climbing
just
tips.
4 of each then.
And the Warforged, he needs to stay warm?
Wait, I'm reading about.
Aye, for the Warforge, it's for style.
Yeah, in
Ah,
style.
style. Well, you won't find a more stylish band in the 12th century than here, whichever century we're currently in.
Do they have climbers kits?
Yep. Yep, she's got rope and climbing kits.
Are we just going with the prices in the PHP?
Yep. Yep, keep it simple. I think you guys should be fairly flush with cash because I've been somewhat liberal with coins being spread around.
Yar, I'll make you a deal. I'll pay you full price if you can answer my riddle.
Ooh,
Otherwise,
sounds
half price.
I like a good
Oh.
riddle. You're on.
All right.
Yar.
Yar. Why can't a pirate ever finish the alphabet?
Well, because they always get stuck on the R.
Ah, you got it wrong. They always get lost at sea.
Ooh.
Inspiration.
Yep. That's a victory. I like it.
That's a good one.
Pirate riddles. Ah, well, that was a good riddle. I'm gonna be using that one in the future. Just wait 5 years and I'll recycle it. And so you get your climbing kits and whatnot for half price.
Nice.
Just his though. He's the only one that came up with the riddle.
Gonna play us like that?
How it works. The pirate pays for his own bill.
Oh, okay.
I can't pay full price for something. It's my nature.
That's true. It wouldn't be very pirately.
All right.
Now go see Scallywag.
Could see the scallywag. It's starting to get a little late in the day because it did take you about till lunchtime to get to town and
Several
a little
hours to get
pandering
the
around
riddles.
several hours of answering riddles and dealing with Harbin Wester and returning the horses. There's a lot of, now that you're in town, the amount of administration has piled up.
You know, I love a good administration.
Good old
Paying some
administration.
bills and
So do you guys want to go looking for Augusto? Do you want to like settle in for the night? You're you can feel the experience bursting from within you after speaking with Urban Wester.
Oh, the experience. I can barely contain it.
Let's talk
Well-
to this Augusto guy.
Yeah, let's
he
go
might still be awake. He's a scallywag, so
to sundown, man.
Scallywag. All right.
To the east.
So, Lenine had pointed you way down to the east, where you see this old, dilapidated manor up on a hill. It's obvious that at one point it was kind of the mainstay or the governor or ruler of Phandalin would have lived in this location, but through years of or centuries of battles uh, and lots of changeover in the town, it's fallen into disrepair and is kind of half collapsed. Looks a little dangerous to be around.
Scallywag.
Scallywag! Where are you?
Augusto. Are you there, mate?
So you hear some shuffling around, and out from beyond some of the rubble, this kind of frail-looking old man appears.
Let's go.
And he looks and says, "Ah!" Now that I'm consciously doing it, it's not as effective. And who might you be?
Is this an L?
Who comes
Hey.
looking for the scallywag?
Hey, we're sent here from Lady Greywind. She said you might be able to help us find the lair of Cryovane.
That good-for-nothing dragon. He's
I spit on
taken
the ground.
everything from me. He spits on the ground too.
I spit harder.
Yeah. He spits harder still.
Ah, I lose. Damn it.
He has to clutch the wall to catch his breath after 2 large spits on the ground.
Like, what point of exhaustion?
So he looks and says, "Why, yes, I have seen his lair. Not,
You have.
not recently, of course. I mean, I know where he's staying from hearing adventurers' screams in the night.
So it's close by.
But we used to battle there quite often. Not with the dragon, of course, but with the orcs. We constantly have to battle them back."
Ah, the orcs. I spit on the ground again.
He attempts to spit, but this time it's just more of a "Phew," and nothing really comes out.
I feel pretty good.
So he looks at your group and says, why on earth would you want to go to the dragon's lair? I just don't understand."
He's captured one of our friends who we kind of like,
And
but not that much.
And we in contest.
Contest. What kind of contest?
Kill the dragon.
Dragon slay contest.
Oh, a
Where the
dragon
dragon
slay
slayer?
contest.
From Clydeview.
I take a pose.
It's in Discord. Is everyone in the same spots on everyone's screen, or is it different in everyone's screen?
Probably random.
That's Bob.
Oh,
that's
totally
that's
different.
Bob. Radosh.
That's
I
I
Kevin.
assume everyone's in the
That's
top
Bob.
left for themselves, right?
There's
No,
not.
I'm in the
I'm
bottom
in
left.
Oh,
I'm in
really?
the top
Everything's
center.
When I point up, it's down.
You're in the bottom left for me too, Kevin. Wonder what the
Bottom left
algorithm
for me,
is.
yeah. Bob's
God,
on
it's
top
just
left.
this orange blob.
Ryan is top right.
Oh yeah. No. Ryan's top middle.
I'm
I'm
bottom
top middle.
left. And things. Oh yeah.
Anyways,
Scallywag.
minutia that doesn't really
Ryan's
matter.
top
Just
middle in
curious.
bed too.
Whoa.
Chaotic good. So he gets a solemn look on his face and says, "If your friend was taken by Cryovane, why, he's surely dead.
Yeah.
Dead or encased in ice, never to be seen again."
That's confirmation, boys.
I
We
I
just
suspect
give
he
up on it.
has some sort of plot armor that he could use to defend him against the big bad of this
I
campaign.
haven't heard of this plot armor before. It sounds
It's
powerful.
more powerful than Mithril, even.
Can just sweep you away at a moment's notice, I've come to see.
Real warriors don't wear armor.
It's true, but up in the mountains, it's cold. There's snow.
Silly lowlander is not cold. Is brisk.
Oh. Icespire Peak has a deep cold like you wouldn't believe, especially now that the dragon is there.
Yarr. Is there a building up there?
There
Maybe a
is.
hole.
There's a large fortress.
Yeah.
Why would they build a fortress on a mountain?
Just,
Well, it's easily defendable. It's the highest point. Those orcs, they get up to all kinds of craziness.
I
And
spit
they can
again.
stay secluded in they can stay secluded in the mountains. Up in their
Yarr.
hold.
Did people live there before? Is that why you were there?
No, as I've told you twice, it was an orc fortress.
Listen, Tiny You.
I spit again after he says that.
I still don't understand.
You dumb.
Icespire Hold was a famous orc encampment. It's perched on the icy northeast spur of Icespire Peak.
Wait. So you're saying the orcs built it?
Yes, it was ruled by a terrible orc warlord named Delsandra Amzar. She built it and dwelled there for many years, while her and her soldiers, her orc soldiers, patrolled over the mountains.
When you say fortress, you mean like sticks and stuff.
Sticks and stones. You better be careful, because it'll break your bones.
That's fair.
It's also very slippery. You're gonna have to watch out for patches of ice. Occasionally crop up out of nowhere on a steamingly perfectly dry path. Warn your friends.
I'm doomed.
That'll get you.
No, the fortress had originally been built centuries ago to defend this land from the orcs. What it really did was create a nice, cozy fortress for them to live in. And so it defended the land by keeping them up in the mountain and away from the lowlands here.
progressive thinking.
However, with the arrival of Cryovane, he's driven the orcs out. I'm sure you've seen, or at least heard tales of the orcs roaming over this land where they would normally keep to themselves up in the mountain. Have you seen any orcs?
Nope.
Ah, well,
Yes.
you don't want to see them. They're a nasty, nasty bunch.
It was really dark.
Don't taste very good either. The dragons seem to like them, but
We have acquired a taste for them.
acquired a taste for orc steaks. So Augusto looks you over and says, "So you want to go and see if you can rescue your friend?"
Affirmative.
Not really.
Well, I must say, if he's not dead already, you'd be dead.
What?
What?
You, you, you'd be dead in one encounter with this dragon. He's very powerful.
We
Perhaps
fight.
you should strengthen yourself a bit further before taking on such a horrendous beast.
We fight with ancestors. We have strength enough.
Huzzah!
Very well. So what are you asking of me?
X on the map.
I'll hold the map out.
An X on the map.
You tell
Well.
me how to get there, or you come with.
Yes, I could certainly tell you how, or I could come with. As long as you don't mind a little old man joining you for a nice stroll in the mountains.
As long as you don't bring any riddles.
Ah, I'm not one for riddles. That Lenine, those riddles, I can't solve any of those. I've been around for a long time.
We are happy to have new threat join us.
New threat. Well, I'm certainly no threat. I mean, I'm just a frail old man.
I turn to one of these party members and say, "You say human is threat. He threat."
Flash is threat.
You look around at all the flesh around you. Your eyes turn bright red. Well, perhaps I could take you there in the morning, or at least we could start the journey.
No.
It's a long way up the mountain. You certainly don't want to leave at nighttime. Plus, I need to get my own supplies ready for this trek.
We should call it a night.
I agree. And
Yeah.
let the experience course through us.
Oh, experience.
All right. So Augusto looks at you and says, "Very well. We'll meet back here bright and early, 7 o'clock."
Can we sleep at your house? Slumber party?
He trepidatiously looks behind him and, my house is not really designed for visitors. There's only one spot to sleep that isn't out in the cold.
We need to go give the bad news
It's
to
not cold.
the innkeeper. He was a great fan of Om Nom.
Hmm.
But I'm sure his coin will still carry us through to rooms and free breakfast.
To the Stonehill Inn.
All right. So you guys head over to the Stonehill Inn. As is customary, Toblin opens the door and says, "Ah, my friends, you've returned." But where's Omnom?
Laddie, we have some terrible news.
Oh no.
Oh yes. Orc, you taken by White Dragon.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Well, he's gone forever? What are you gonna do?
We save Orcu.
Alright, well, I'm sure you need to rest up before taking on a dangerous enemy like Cryovane.
Perhaps we could stay the night, but with the discounted rate. Because we don't know if he's alive or dead, really.
So you want a discount at the time like this?
Num Num is back. I'm sure he will pay you great. He'll continue to pay off the pay off the debts of others for whatever his reasoning is.
So Toblin looks and says, well, I hope he's not destroyed. Here are your keys to your rooms. Don't leave them in such a mess this time. It's very time consuming to pick up all of those crumbs every single time. Also, can I interest you in this strawberry rhubarb pie?
Me already had pie. He's no good.
Me pie? Alright. You guys head on upstairs to your rooms. It's pretty late at night. After a little nightcap action, you drift off to sleep.
We sleep.
And now
Dragon comes, takes the end.
So we'll call it there. If you guys want to level up for next time, I probably should have told you to level up for when we slept on the road, but I figured trying to level up halfway through a session was probably a little cumbersome. So
level 4.
yeah.
Ooh, we can fight all the dragons we want now.
Do it right now.
35 hit points.
Yeah, like 10
doing
million.
it. Doing it now.
Oh my god.
35
Yeah,
hit points.
because if you wait a week, it just won't do it. And then,
No, not gonna happen.
Yeah, 35 hit.
Ooh, ability score. Or do I want feet? Let me check.
Now that I've been consciously
God.
called out for saying "ah" at the beginning of every encounter with a new NPC, I am very aware of it.
The magic is lost.
How the most strong-witted start their sentences.